Hi guys, so here's another quick video for you regarding the three box method. Okay, so I've missed out on this trade. I'm not trading on NFP I don't generally do that, to be fair, but I've missed a trade this morning. It was getting in on an entry at around about 6 o'clock. But let's just take a look at the screen, share the screen, make this a little bit bigger. Right, so what we've got is, we've got obviously a breaker structure from this point, okay? So that there, again, as we laid out, that's been a breaker structure. So I've got a low, and I want you to take notes with this because I'm going to try and make this as easy as possible to follow, okay? So we've got a low, we've came up, okay, and as prices come up, we broke the structure of there, okay? So then that has made a swing high, okay? So that's box one, and I know you're going to miss my handsome face, so let's just scare you a bit. Right, so we've determined a breaker structure from a continuation, okay? So we've got an uptrend, we broke the structure, and we've got a nice box here. We've got a nice flag pattern back down, okay? Now, when you get the breaker structure and you get the flag coming back down overs, okay, obviously you've got box one, done there. You can also get your box two ready. So what we're looking at, and I'm just going to try and drill this in, we'll try and drill this right in. We're looking at this, the last sell before the buy, okay, before the impulse move back up to break the structure. So we're going to cover from the wick down to the wick, okay? It's primarily that candle there, okay? We'll stretch it out and you'll see price, when it went on its upturn, it created a high up here, okay? Let me just get a look, so it's to that green, okay? It created a high up to here, and now it's flagged back down into this order block. Now, this is where we do box three. This is the bit that you need to understand. This is the bit I need to try and get across as easy and as best as possible, okay? When you do your box one, when you do your box two, you can simply hover your cursor anywhere inside of this box. I would generally do it 1 or 2 pips in. I would scroll along to the right, click alert, add an alert, right? So immediately when price is returning and it goes bang, and it's into your box of point of interest, because that's what this box is, the point of interest of box two, you are then going to have an alert go off. Now, from there, because we do the rule of 30, okay? Now, I'll go over the rule of 30 on the 1 hour. There is an explanation in the advanced section of the Discord, right? So your rule of 30 based upon the 1 hour, it's basically 1 for the 1 hour time frame times by the 60, because there is 60 minutes in the 1 hour, okay? That's obviously giving you 60, and then you divide it by the 30, which is going to give you a time frame of 2 minutes. So you just hit the number 2 and then hit enter, okay? Now, what we are going to do, we are then taking an invested interest into the chart, okay? You will be then taking an invested interest into the chart. And we can see we come in and we started entering in here, okay? Now, let's just take a look and go a little bit deeper as well, because I try to give as much value as I can, okay? We're ignoring the rest of the chart at the moment, right? So what we are waiting for basically, okay, is once we are entered, let's just get the brush, might be an easier one. We are waiting for a complete breaker structure. Once price is in, we're waiting for a breaker structure to the upside, okay? And I'm going to show you. So we've got what you would call weak. These are like lower lows. They're weak, 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 weak. There's still no break of structure. We come here, still no break of structure. Okay. Now this one is going to give me an interest. Okay. So when we look back on the candle, okay, we're looking generally at this candle here. Okay. And if we draw out, and I'll tell you why. I'll pick this candle in a moment. Let's take a look. So what you've got here is the last down, then it's sort of it's come up, and then it's broken out of the structure of this area. Okay, so that there has confirmed the breaker structure. Okay, so then we've got our box 3, which is this here. Get this as our box number 3. This is going to be our entry area. You're going to set along. Okay, let's just get this right. You've had the breaker structure. The returns came in pretty quick. It's come in within the 4 minutes. This is what's going to happen generally. You're going to give yourself a bit of a cushion from the order block, maybe it's a pip or two. Okay. Now, when you get these happening, excuse me, you're generally going to get a reaction because it is on a lower time frame, and you're going to give yourself the cushion just below the last low here. This is your order block area. I've included this move here because it's all within the same candle. You see here, the last down before the push up. Reason why I've included a couple of candles is because from there to there, it could have been any number of these candles, but because these candles here are contained within this bigger impulse down, I've included the candle for box 3 from this one down to the bottom. Okay. Now, your target area, and again, I mean, I'll go over once you enter and your alarm goes off, you're watching with interest that in this instance, because it's on the downtrend, you are watching your lower lows, your lower lows, your lower lows, your lower lows, your lower lows. You are waiting for price to drive itself back up and create from this lower high. You're waiting for a new high point. That's going to confirm you've got the first part of the reversal. You then do your box number 3 on the highlighting of the last down before the up. Again, because the candles got smaller coming into this, they were still within the contractual area of this bigger candle. So I used that candle as our order block 3 or box number 3. We have a breakout here. And as we've had a breakout, you are setting your long position, covering the order block of this to come back in to touch it. Your target area, I'm just going to get my scary face a little bit smaller. Your target area is going to be all the way up here, okay? Simply to cover the initial 1 hour swing move, okay? Now I'm going to show you where we've gone to at the moment. On the way back up, you've got to, before we see where this has gone to, okay? You could have target areas, okay? Now these target areas, the primary one is always going to be the top end swing point, okay? But from there, we can identify areas where you may want to see it take partials, or possibly move your stop loss to break even, or even move your stop loss to just below that next sort of point of interest. So let's just have a look at this before we look at the final results. So we've got one there, and we're using the downtrend, okay? So as the flag patterns come back in, we are just prominently highlighting areas which has held significant structure, okay? And we've got that one there, and obviously finally we'll have the one on the top, okay? So we've got 3 areas. So before we look further into it, yeah, there you've got that there held at 2.4 return. Okay, so here 2.48. Your next one up held 4.44. Your next one is holding 696. 6.96. This one is a 10.2. 10.2. We'll see where this has gone to in a moment. And then the final one is a 13.3. I mean, obviously, when you take partials, it's going to lessen your reward a bit. But these are where we are, okay? And we'll see where this is played out. You can see at the moment, it went up to at least the 6.96, okay? If we look at where price has gone to, you're possibly going to get in a 1 to 9, to be fair. But again, this is all down to doing the 1 hour time frame. We'll go over this again. We've seen we've come up, we broke the structure from the higher high. Okay, we've come down on a retracement. Okay, the retracement has come back, but then the next impulse drive has created a higher high. So on here, you've got the high. That there is a pullback. Okay, and then you've driven up. This is what we call an impulse, okay? That's the impulse drive. And as it's driven up and it's an impulse, it's still the impulse because we've broken structure from that high point and it's created a new higher high, okay? Now, as we come back in, it creates what you call a flag, a retracement. It's flagged back into here. Let's just take a look. It's flagged back down into the order block here, as you can see, okay? It's flagging back down, and the moment, well, excuse me, and the moment we get this starting to retrace down again, you go to where your box 1 is, set your alert. As soon as you get your alert coming in here, okay, you want to drive down into the rule of 30. The 1 hour will always be a 2 minute. Now, it's subjective. You could do a 2 minute, a 3 minute, possibly a 5 minute entry. So I've just chosen the 2 minute, okay? And as you come down, this is where, excuse me, this is where all your concentration should be on the 1 pair, okay? Because this is so successful in its hit rate. It's absolutely fantastic. And what you are watching is, once you're in this golden zone, you're watching, on this instance, because it's been a downtrend, you're watching these lower areas, lower, it's getting weak. And then what we've got is contained within that structure of the candle. We've got a couple of selling candles. So therefore, as we've driven back up from a double tap bottom out of here and made a new high point, okay, we can then say, right, we've broken the structure. We've broken the structure of that previous area, okay? And as we've broken structure, this is where you need to be quick. You get yourself ready on the order block, give yourself a cushion of a pip or two from that candle, and then you're driving your long position to the high side, which is always going to be the swing of the 1 hour area, okay? And then from there, you just identify the areas of importance from that flag position coming down as the area to take partials, move your stop loss to break evens, and things like that. And again, guys, this is when to a 1 to 9. Not upset, because I know these are opportunities that come in all of the time. Okay, these happen all of the time. So even if you miss one, but you still see it play out and you mark it up, fantastic. You're learning something. Okay, just don't get too despondent if you miss getting the entry. This is why we set the alert on the box 1. And then obviously once you get that come into that area on the flag position coming back down, you would then take an invested interest from your lower time frame, watching the trend of the flag still continuing. You mark off the areas where it's breaking its structure on the down, and then you're going to wait for that reversal push back up. As soon as it breaks out, on this instance, as soon as it broke that lower high and made a new high position, that's when I'm going to look for the last sell before the buy position. Out of that position, have my order block entry, and then set my position a pip or two above the order block, a pip or two below. It's going to come in and touch it every day. It's going to come in and touch it every day, and bang, you're off to the races. Now, share the screen one more time before we sign off, because like I say, I try to make these videos as easy as possible to follow. And you can see where we've marked off. We've had a 2.48, a 4.44, a 6.96. This given time, for me personally, the way I would sort of work it, when we went to the first position, I would possibly say move my stop loss to break even plus a couple of pips. Now, when I say a couple of pips, I would possibly move it to the area which is there. Okay, so again, that there is going to be just above break even plus 2 or 3 pips. The reason I've picked that area there is because that's where we broke the structure to get in on the entry. Okay, so even if this had decided to sort of, yes, it's ended, okay, but then it came up to this area, okay, I've moved my stop loss to just above break even, underneath the break structure point of where we had the entry. Even if this decided to then come back, okay, and hit that area there where I set my stop loss, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be upset at all. Yes, I've only getting 2 pips, but at the same time, the direction and the bias was correct. The entry was spot on. I would sooner get 2 pips on these than getting no pips at all. Okay. The benefit you've got is, okay, let's just take a look. Let's look at the other scenario. So let's say you have ended, okay. You've come in, you've ended, you've broke that structure, you've come up to this area, you've moved your stop loss, which was down here, to just above the break even plus a few pips. This could very well retrace back down, okay, but then you're off to the races. You're off to the races. And then what I would possibly do, if we got to the next area of interest, I would then possibly look at taking a partial, taking half the trade out and letting the trade run free. Again, as you've taken half the trade out on the second area of interest, I would still keep my SL here. It's just down to your personal preference, to be fair, but that's how I would manage these trades. Do it with great success. And again, it's just down to getting used to how these trades play out. I'm just going to stop the share a minute. Make my face a little bit bigger. So it's all down to getting used to these patterns playing out, looking for them. Again, you could certainly back test this if you wanted to. You could forward test it by getting in on a trade on demo. I would employ everybody to do that. It's a great technique, and I've had great success with it as well. And again, all props go to Anton, a guy who I follow in another group of Men FX. Again, he was the one who brought it to my attention. It's been fantastic for me. So you share the knowledge, you share the wealth, you know. So again, that is an in-depth video on how I would not only trade it, what I do going into the trade and how I set my alert, what I do once the alert comes about, but also how I manage the trade and what areas and how I look for my areas of TP based upon that swing point. Okay, so I hope that video has sort of given you a bit more of an insight on the three box method on how I would manage the trade. If you're stuck and you need a little bit of help, just reach out to me. It's what I'm here for. Again, there'll be more of these sort of things coming in the near future. Okay, so I'll see you all later, guys.